Good morning and welcome to Times Square today. I'm your host, Zach Viskomi, and joining me is a very special guest, Bhupendra Shondri. Bhupendra is a renowned author, speaker, coach. He really has been in the business for the last 30 years in science around consciousness. I've been doing really incredible things and helping people explore their happiness. So Bhupendra, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you very much for inviting me here.
You've obviously done a lot of work and research. You've opened up these platforms to bring people into that research and to help them along the way. So can you tell me a little bit more about really what your mission and your vision is behind these things?
Well, my mission is quite simple: to help people to realize their dreams, to help them to live a life of their dreams. So how can they achieve their dreams? That is very simple. And the systems and tools and framework is stupid simple. It's as simple as your mind is difficult accepting this simplicity. Because mind is a kind of entity who loves complexities, who loves challenges, who loves problems. When you give any simple solution, the first thing your mind does, rejecting that instantly. So that level of simplicity, when you give in terms of solution, it's very hard for people to accept it as solution. I built one platform called Bhupendra's Quantum Force, where people can come and test their level of consciousness. They can not only experiment with their consciousness, but they can change it to different degrees, to different levels, and they can test it in a scientific domain, in a scientific environment. It's not like a kind of belief or my own opinion. It is tested in a scientific domain, like I'm doing my own PhD on this topic itself, like self-inquiry and nature of consciousness is my PhD topic. So I wanted to prove it and validate it in a scientific structure, rather than keeping this as merely an opinion. Like thousands of people have different opinions about consciousness, but it's very difficult to test it in a scientific domain. Consciousness, try to find data available in terms of literatures, in terms of videos, audios, talks. People get confused that what is this about? What the hell is consciousness? Whether it is just an awareness or it's something else. I wanted to give them a comprehensive idea about consciousness. That's why I created this platform, Bhupendra's Quantum Force, where people can come and test it and can integrate it in their day-to-day activities. And if they feel that it is helpful for them, they can continue with that. And it's free of cost. There's no charge at all. Then I created another platform where people can come and can share their experiences. That is called Circle of Consciousness and Happiness. That is a community I built where people from all walks of life throughout the world can come and share their experiences, can share their ideas about consciousness, can share their challenges, their doubts, they can resolve by using that platform. But during that process, I was bombarded with tons of questions because people, when they practice consciousness through direct method of self-inquiry, they have a number of questions and doubts. Instead of giving answers of their questions separately, I plan to write a book. And the book title is The Empire of a Yogi, where I gave that framework, tools, systems, which I have been understood in those 30 years of my intensive research on this domain called consciousness.
Right.
I found a need to create that platform which I shared with you just a few minutes ago, Bhupendra's Quantum Force, where they can come and test it. And when they are getting benefits out of it, then they will trust it automatically, right? So the mission is quite simple. Live your life of your dreams. And I'm here to help you.
I love that.
That's it.
That's really great. And so, I know before set we were talking a little bit about a lot of what you were doing and some different things, and I know what you do. Can you share a little bit more about the story that you were telling me? It's just kind of like your journey as an author, as a researcher, kind of what's brought you to where you are today and sort of sharing that story with our viewers.
But I'll start with that quote, which I heard at very early age of my life. I was 7 or 8 when my grandfather told me that quality of life is directly proportional to the quality of questions you are holding with yourself about you all the time. And those quality of questions are directly associated with the level of consciousness. The degree and level of consciousness can be reflected through those questions which you are holding with yourself. You can blame this entire world, situations, government, other people, and you can ask questions to them. Why are those things are not helping that person to grow? All those things are just dominating you, destroying you, not helping you in realizing your dreams, and you are compromising at each and every point of your life. But if you are holding good questions, that all those resources are there for you and you can use them at optimum level to realize your dreams, that's a different way of thinking. And the domain is consciousness. Higher the level of consciousness is better the quality of your questions which you are asking to yourself. And that's the beauty of this process. And that is why there was a need to create this whole structure called, you can name like Bhupendra's Quantum Force, Circle of Consciousness and Happiness, and then writing book, The Empire of a Yogi. And the story is very simple. At very young age, I became very rich. I was 18 when I had a lot of money and fame and name and awards. But at the same time, I was not satisfied with that growth and with this phenomenal success. Instead, it was giving me discontentment and a kind of longing. And I didn't know what is that about. I started thinking then, what is the purpose now? To continue with this journey, to continue with this life, because one can spend whole life in achieving all those things which I have achieved at very early age of my life. And that thought was so powerful. Whatever was coming to my way, I started declining, rejecting. I lost my appetite. And that time of interjection, I encountered with a person who was a real yogi or seeker or practitioner. I bumped into him at a public place and I opened a simple conversation with him that what is the difference in you and me? That you are living a life having nothing and still you have this broad smile on your face. You have that peace and serenity and grace in your eyes, in your whole body language. I have everything, but I'm still frustrated, still dissatisfied. What is that difference in you and me? And then he shared one small story with me. He said that two people were traveling in a train. One was a rich guy like you, another one was like a monk like me. You asked me a question, that what is the difference in you and me? The simple question. Then train halted at a station. The monk advised to that rich guy, let's have a coffee outside because you have a lot of questions. You are asking me those questions which I need to answer. And it's not a good thing if I'm not answering your whole questions and queries. He liked that idea. He got down with him. And that monk engrossed him in a conversation that by the time he looked at his train is gone. And the person got mad. He's frustrated and shouting and running here and there like monkey dance on the platform. But when he looked at that monk was sipping in his tea without any disturbance, without any frustration. There was no strain of any kind of anger or any kind of loss. And he looked at that guy and said that, are you mad? That even I lost my stuff in that train. I was going there to give a presentation and you are also lost your stuff with me. And you are looking like nothing happened to you. He said, yes. And that's the difference between you and me. I can afford to lose everything instantly, which you cannot. You are ready to die with this heart attack. It seems like you are going to have a heart attack right now. That you have won a lot of things, but you have lost your peace of mind, which I have earned by losing everything. Because the life is most precious thing for me, not this stuff. You earn all those stuff here only, which you can earn again. But if you lose your life right now with this heart attack, what is the significance of those materialistic things in your life? Yeah. And that was the key, which triggered in me that, oh, something else is there beyond this materialistic achievement. And then I learned a lot of things from me in terms of yoga and meditation and all those spiritual practices. I spent almost 3 years with them in deep valleys of the Himalayas. And when I joined my normal life in this world again, I didn't care about whatever I earned earlier, what happened to that wealth and who distributed that, who enjoyed that. I started things again and I built the same fortune again.
Yeah, so now you've got a very unique experience, that you had a level of success and then you realized that it didn't bring you what you were looking for, a level of contentment, and now, coming back after doing that work and reaching another level of consciousness. And so you bring such a unique perspective to the science of consciousness, like you said, after years of research. And so if somebody wanted to reach out to you, or if they wanted to learn more about your book, what would be the best way for them to do that?
It's very simple. They can visit my website, which is www.unveiled.com. bhupendras.com or bhupendrachaudhary.com. They will find all details available on those websites.
Excellent.
And apart from that, my book is there in the market. They can pick that book. All things and links are available on that book also, The Empire of a Yogi. And they can reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to answer them personally. If they have any query, any doubt, I'll respond to their questions. They can email me directly, which is directselfinquiry@gmail.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And I ask everybody this question that comes on the show, and I'd be interested to hear from you too. What is your piece of advice for how somebody could thrive in today's world?
So, well, they should take action immediately. They can join Bhupendra's Quantum Force immediately to test their level of consciousness, and they can integrate it if it is helping them. And they can join Circle of Consciousness and Happiness. They can read my book, The Empire of a Yogi. Apart from that, there is a terminology which I would like to tell the world, that people are starving for safety, because safety is a domain of trust. When you say, you trust me, but trust cannot appear if I'm not feeling safe in your presence. So safety is a fundamental condition to trust you.
Yep.
But there is one more fundamental condition to feel safe, that is higher level of consciousness. So there is a terminology: consciousness, trust, and safety. And when you flip it, you should keep this trust factor always on that top of this triangular, while consciousness as the bottom, at the base.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for the amount of research that you're doing and continuing to do in the field of consciousness and bringing science to something that otherwise hasn't had a lot of science. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. And thank all of you for tuning in today on another episode of Times Square Today.